Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. My name is Susan Renan, and I'm with the League of Women Voters of Greater Cleveland, and I'll be your moderator here tonight. Welcome to the candidate forum for election to the Board of Elections for the City of Bedford City School District. This event is sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Greater Cleveland. For more information on the League of Women Voters, you can go to our website, lwvgreatercleveland.org, or to Facebook, or you can get information at the table in the rear. League of Women Voters always uses a very formal format. We ask that all questions be submitted in writing to screeners at the table so that we can avoid duplications and facilitate matters. We ask you to start writing questions now. We have volunteers in the audience who have index cards. Volunteers, would you hold up some index cards, make your presence known? So all you need to do is raise your hand, and a volunteer will rush over and give you an index card. And when you've written your question, raise the index card, and the volunteer will rush over, pick up the index card, and deliver it to the question screeners. Tonight's forum features 3 candidates running for 2 seats on the Bedford Board of Education. We have them on our right. Next to me, we have Barbara Patterson. In the middle, we have Joseph Mesnick. And at the far end, we have Eva, I beg your pardon, Boynton. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, the candidates and the audience, all of the volunteers who make this possible, and our co-sponsors, the Bedford Council of PTAs, Friends of the Southeast Library, and the HHL branch of the AAUW. We ask all audience members to adhere to a few simple rules designed to ensure fairness and civility. Please display no campaign buttons or other campaign materials here in this room. A table is provided in the hallway for campaign information. You are free to peruse campaign materials there after the conclusion of the forum. You will also find information on the League of Women Voters of Greater Cleveland. Candidates are also encouraged to stay after the forum to meet with voters. There will be light refreshments, I understand. Our format will be as follows. All candidates will have 2 minutes to make an opening statement introducing themselves and what they hope to accomplish on the Board of Education. Each candidate will also have 2 minutes to make a closing statement. The bulk of this forum will consist of your questions and their answers. All candidates will be asked the same questions and will have 1 minute to answer. As I said, all questions must be submitted in writing, and the volunteers will take your index card with the question to the question screeners, who will bring them over to me. The opening statement, closing statement, and all answers to questions will be timed. We have timers right in front there. Excellent. Our timers will warn the speakers when they have 30 seconds left, when they have 15 seconds left, and when they must stop speaking. Raise a flashcard so that candidates can all see how this works. Excellent. If a question is addressed to a particular candidate, that candidate will be asked to answer the question first, but all candidates will have the opportunity to answer the question. If the question is not addressed to a particular candidate, I will decide the order in which candidates will answer the questions in order to ensure that every candidate has an equal opportunity to have floor time. This forum is being recorded in its entirety, uninterrupted. A copy of the tape, will be posted on our website, the League of Women Voters Greater Cleveland's YouTube station. And so you may look for it. We ask that there be no other recordings on this, and we ask you to turn off your electronic devices now. League of Women Voters is committed to civility, and a candidate may be given additional time at the sole discretion of the moderator if it appears that fairness so requires. So, I think that covers the ground rules, and I think we are all excited to hear from these candidates. I know I keep walking away from this microphone, which will be a problem for the recording. I request that the candidates be sure to make their answers into the microphone in order to have the best possible quality on the recording. Now,
if they have trouble hearing, they should wave at us so we know and everyone to speak up.
okay. Mr. Bestick, will you make the first opening statement?
I want to thank everybody for being here. Isn't this loud enough? I want to thank everybody for being here and coming out and giving us an opportunity to introduce ourselves. And I think a lot of people already know who I am. I'm the editor of Liberty News and Views, and I have communicated. Obviously, I believe in communication, making sure everybody knows that. I've lived in the Bedford School District since 1956. I graduated from Bedford High in 1961. I was a state champion in wrestling. And I got a scholarship to Purdue University, graduated from Purdue in 1965. I also have an MBA from Stone Year Graduate School of Banking. I've spent 4 years in the military. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I spent 4 years as the chairman of the Planning Commission of Oakwood Village, 6 years on council, and I'm finishing up my 20th year on the school board. My accomplishments on the school board have been many. A lot of people can remember some of the things that were here when I first started on the board, but basically I recruited Dr. Bedoris, Frank Lagon had retired, and we basically changed Bedford City Schools. We put in strategic planning. One of my projects was to build a stadium, Bearcat Stadium. I'm the one who started that project. We built that in 9 months. I insisted at that time that we have a construction manager. We hired A.M. Higley. They saved us $1.2 million. Cost us $480,000. They built that in 9 months. We were $120,000 under budget. We also had, at that very beginning, was a library. I brought that in at $220,000 under budget. My background is finance and economics, and one of the things that I look at is making sure that we are balancing our budget. And right now, we've gone for about 6 years without an operating levy. It looks like we're going to be able to go for another 2 without an operating levy. That's huge in education. Our main focus is on the children, making sure that they get a great education. We have more resources at Bedford City Schools than basically anywhere else. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second speaker with an opening statement will be Eva Boyington.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eva Boyington, and first I would like to say thank you to the League of Women Voters for this great platform, and also the sponsors. I am a resident of Bedford Heights for 35 years, and I'm also a supporter of the Bedford City School District. I am married, have 2 grown children, and both children are graduates of the Bedford City School District. I'm also an educator in the Warrensville Heights City School District. I'm a graduate of Cleveland State with a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master of Curriculum Instruction with emphasis on mild to moderate General Certified Intervention Specialist with a reading endorsement. My platform is one of my platform is to build relationships. Relationships from home to school. I think it's so important that families feel vested in the education of their children, and we should build a relationship so parents feel comfortable coming to our school to discuss their children. They also should be part of that educational process. My second area on my platform is to increase student achievement. As you know, our district is currently a D, and it was a D last year. Where our work, our district did rise from a F to a C, and I want you to know that I was part of that transformation. I think it can happen in the Bedford City School District, so I'm just hoping that you give me the opportunity to be a part of that transformation and a part of that change. I will be your voice and your vote if I'm elected as a board member of this great school district. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Boynton. Our last opening statement will be given by Barbara Patterson.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending. Thank you, League of Women Voters, for having us here tonight. I am a resident of Oakwood Village, been there for 46 years. I am a wife. I have 2 children, one which graduated from Bedford High School. The other one could not come to Bedford because she wanted to tell me at first grade that what she wanted to wear to school, and I wasn't having it, so I sent her to Catholic school where she wore the same thing every day. I've been in education for 45 years. I retired from Cleveland Metropolitan School District as an assistant principal. I graduated from Bluefield State with a BS in science. I taught physical education, health, and biology as a teacher, and then I went into administration. I am currently subbing as a principal or assistant principal in the Shaker school system, so I still have my hands in education. My goal is to continue to help our school district and our students to have academic achievement, and also to have communication with the parents. If you call my house, my secretary, who is my husband, always has a note saying you need to call so-and-so back, so-and-so called you, so I do get back to you. The other thing is that I know that our district is in the D range, and I know that our teachers work very, very hard. We have to have our parents behind our students. I see the parents with our students in first and kindergarten, but when they get to middle school, they kind of let them go on their own and not follow through with them. And we need to have you from first grade, from kindergarten to 12th grade, to be with your students. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The first question is for Eva. What was the driving force behind your desire to run for board office?
Well, thank you. As I've said, I've lived in the district for 35 years. So I remember when the district was not a D, had a grade level, a letter grade of a D. I remember those years. I'm still proud of our Bedford City School District, but not as proud as I was back then when my children were in school. So that was my driving force, because I'm currently an educator. I'm just saying this. I'm currently an educator, so there's no disconnect in how a school could be ran and the responsibility of all the stakeholders that are involved. So I decided to run because I thought I could be a very valuable part in transforming the district. I think it's time for some new ideas, everybody. It's also time for people to look at the data and analyze that data so we can make this big change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Patterson, did you have a driving reason for seeking this position?
Oh, that was 18 years ago. There was a vacancy on the board, and the mayor of Oakwood, Mr. Mayor Gottschalk, called my house because I was on a committee, Let's Educate, was called Learn, Educate Students Now. And he asked me if I would like to try to be on the board. And I said, well, yes, I think so. I been in administration, I've worked with kids, that would be something that I had not done. And so that's how I got on the board. I put in my application, sent in my resume, and it was accepted, and I got on the board. And I have enjoyed all 18 years of it. Thank you.
Mr. Mesnick, what has been your driving reason for being on the board?
Well, there's parts of education that you almost have to not be in education in order to be able to make some changes. My background is doing industrial engineering. We're putting together processes. And if you take a look at what we're doing right now in Bedford, first of all, Bedford's one of the richest school districts in Ohio. You should know that. We have resources. That's why we could build a stadium, why we have computers, why we have all the stuff that's there. Any child who comes to Bedford City Schools who wants to do and get a good education is going to be able to do that. Last year, our valedictorian had nearly $300,000 in scholarships. So kids are getting an education here. Our problem at this school is that we have a problem in the community with all the apartments and rental houses. We have 3 to 4 evictions a day. We have a 25 to 30% turnover in students every year. We have to address that. Originally, we did address this. We had programs in place. Those programs, every time you change the administration, all those things seem to go away. We need to get those reestablished.
Thank
And I
you.
can get that done.
Thank you. We all know that the state report cards have issues. But aside from the report cards, how can one evaluate the success of this school district? And I would like to address this question to Ms. Patterson first.
Well, let me say one thing about the report card. When you keep changing the dynamics of what you're going to grade on, it poses a problem with any school district, okay? And that's what has happened. You know, they say you have 18 components to pass, then the next year is 25, then the next year is 28. You know, when you change that, it makes it difficult. The teachers in this district work very, very hard. And we as a board make sure they have the tools to educate our kids. We have a high rate of graduation. If you look at other school districts, we're always 200 plus students graduating. So I know that these students are getting educated and graduating and going on. If you look into the newspaper that's put out at the end of the year, it tells you how many kids are going, where they're going to college, how many are going into service. My time is up, sorry.
Ms. Boynton, would you address that question next, please?
I do agree that Bedford does receive a very high score as far as the graduates. So one thing we do have to look at, and the report card is very, very important. And it's one part of the report card, though, that I think is very, very important, and that's preparing our children for success. So one of the things that Ms. Patterson just said, we have the graduates, but preparing children for success means that they don't have to take remedial courses when they enter college. That is something that we really do need to address. Why can't our children meet the minimum score on an ACT and an SAT test? So that's what I'm talking about when I said we need to look at the data, analyze the data, see where the problem. I'm sure there's wonderful teachers, and I'm a teacher myself, so I know there's wonderful teachers in the Bedford City School District. But someone has to analyze that data to see where we need to close that gap so we are truly preparing our children, not just for graduating, but for success.
Thank you. Mr. Mesnick, would you answer that question, please?
Yeah, you know, we're talking about a really complicated situation. One of the things that happened was years ago, you had some geniuses in education that came up with Common Core, and they said they were going to teach the same curriculum at the same time at every school district. So somebody going from one school district will be able to just blend right in. That's really great for kids who are getting A's and B's. The kids who are getting C's, D's, and F's can't keep up. And I'm going to tell you something. We had a vocational program here years ago. When I got off the board in '98, that program was eliminated. We've got to put together a vocational program back in here because not everybody is going to go to college. We've got jobs right now in the Veterans School District, hundreds of jobs that are available. We need to train our students to be able to take those jobs. We need people who can be welders, we need people who can be truck drivers, and these people are making $50,000, $60,000 a year. They can work. We have right now the auto mile. We have people crying out there and wanting people who are going to be auto mechanics coming through here. We need to train them here. Our problem as a state has come out and homogeneously put this thing together, and it doesn't work, and I'll tell you, it's not fair, and I'll tell you, they're grading not the school, but the kids, and that is truly not fair. We've got to get that changed, and I will change that.
Ms. Patterson, could you describe the difference in role between the school board and the superintendent of a school? What are the basic duties of the board, and how do they differ from the superintendent's duties?
Okay. The duties of a board member is 1, we hire and fire a superintendent. 2, we hire and fire a treasurer. 3, we make policy. That's the only 3 things that a board member does. The difference between the board member and the superintendent is that the superintendent encompasses all the employees, all the operations of the school district. That's her responsibility. Anything happens, we don't go to a teacher, we go to the superintendent because she's their boss. If something's not right in a school, we get a call, we don't go to the principal of the school, we call the superintendent. That's the difference between the superintendent and the board.
Mr. Desnick, would you like to address that question?
Well, Mrs. Patterson hit it right on the head. I mean, we have to work through the superintendent at all times. And it's really critical. People have a complaint or whatever, it's got to go through her. And I totally agree with that. And you also have to work with your school board members. The fact of the matter is, we do come up with ideas. I mean, and we share those ideas, and we try to share that with the superintendent. We're the representatives of the people. We're the intermediaries between the people and the school district. So we're there. And I'll tell you, personally, I do a lot of research. I go back and I came up with, just to give you an example, team teaching and looping. That had never been done in education anywhere. But the whole idea in that was to be able to have a checks and balance system from kindergarten through the 5th grade. Because if you screw up those years, you're remediating forever. And the fact of the matter is that the idea was taking 2 teachers going from kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, they loop back and had 2 teachers from 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. You got synergy, you got people working together, the teachers loved it, the parents got to know the teachers got to know the parents. It's a beautiful program for them.
Ms. Boynton, would you like to address